Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Samuel Stevenson podcast. Today, I have with me the one and only Ian Bivins. He is the man. Ian, can you tell us real quick, why are you the man and what do you do?
Well, Sam just asked me, what am I? So I said, I'm a man. But yeah, my name is Ian Bivins. I am currently working on my PhD in exercise physiology. Live down here about just coming up on a year, but working on my PhD in kinesiology and then doing a lot of personal training on the side.
And what's your journey been like on the way there? Like, what have you done before to lead up to this point? Why did you decide to do kinesiology and get a PhD? Like, that's a big deal.
That's a long question. The journey? Yeah, it's been a journey. Was at Baylor University where I did my bachelor's in kinesiology. Got really involved with personal training at that time. And then after I was about to finish my bachelor's, I had no idea what I was going to do. And so one of my professors asked me what I was doing after graduation. And I said, I'm just going to stay around Waco, continue personal training. And he said, well, if you're going to stay, you should consider doing a master's. So that's what prompted me to do the master's. So after 4 years in Waco, stayed another 2, did my master's in exercise physiology, continued personal training, and then just kind of fell in love with the process and decided I want to keep going. So
the next logical step would have been to just get your PhD.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess I wasn't tired of school yet and decided to keep going.
Yeah. Are you tired of school now?
No, I'm actually not. I feel like the further along you get in your degree, the more your classes are suited towards your interests. And so I'd say I'm enjoying my classes more than I ever did when I was working on my bachelor's. So
yeah, do you think that like because there's not all that extra fluff in there, that's not like, oh, I don't really care about US history, you know?
Yeah.
Is that like, do you think that's one of the reasons why you like it more?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and for me, I spent more time probably personal training than I ever did in class or on campus. And so for me, it was really like, then once I got to the master's and the PhD, it was like what I was learning in the classroom was directly applying to my training. And they both just synced up really well, you know?
Got it. Was it like, I mean, you were basically personal training, you're not training people at school, but like the stuff that you're testing and studying is like stuff you would directly talk about with the people that you are now training.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
Okay. And what is it exactly that you are doing in your PhD? Like, do you have the vials and like you're putting like one blue color in the vial and testing this color and like poking a rat with a needle?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. So my route, with the PhD, you can go a lot of different routes. It kind of depends on your research interests. And so a lot of people will either go preclinical research, which is like working with mice, or you can go clinical research where you're working with humans. And so since I had the personal training background, I knew that I liked working with humans, so I wanted to keep doing that. And then the focus of my research lab is nutrition and supplementation. So we do nutritional interventions and supplement interventions, just like you would take in your everyday life. And we see the impact on body composition, exercise training, cognitive function, different things like that.
Do you think the people that go, like they can pick one or the other, right? The humans or the mice? Is there like a personality type of people that are like, oh, I want to go like do rice, mice. Yeah. Or like on your end, oh boy, the cat's gonna touch buttons.
Oh, there's
boy.
President Snow.
Say hello to Jon Snow. Doing it live, folks. Yeah. Do you think there's a personality type of people that like want to like do stuff with humans? Is the wrong way to say it, but like that's the question.
Yeah.
Like, why did you want to do that over the mice? What appealed to you about it?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So I would say, so there's 2 different things you can do. Obviously, with a human, I can't just give you random drugs, just randomly like test whatever muscle I want to, like extract limbs from you. Like there's certain things that I can't do with a human that I can do with a mice. And so like in our field, if you're working with mice, you can do these interventions that are more at like the cellular level, the mechanistic level, versus when you're working with humans, it's like very practical applications, like real world applications, if that makes sense.
I have this image in my head now. I need you to correct it for me. The image in my head is a bunch of people in a lab, like with tweezers, like pulling the limbs off of mice. Is that a thing?
Essentially, yeah. One of the main muscles that you'll test in a mice is the calf muscle. So like their soleus and their gastrocnemius.
Oh yes, those. That's right. Those.
So those are two limbs where literally like you can extract them from a mice to test whether you're testing exercise training on them and you want to see the adaptations at the muscle level. You'll extract that muscle from the mice and like real time analyze it.
And by extract, you mean remove the muscle from the mouse.
Cut the limb. Yeah. Cut the limb.
Okay, so with humans, we don't want to do like hey, let's give them a drug for a little bit and then let's cut their leg off and see. Right. Is there any particular reason we don't do that with humans?
It's got dark really fast. Cutting limbs off.
I mean, it's got to be something you've thought about at some point.
Yeah.
Like, so if we can't do all that cool stuff and we don't want to actually like pick apart humans, is it true with like what about cadavers and stuff? Like if the body's already dead, is it different?
Oh,
you can't really test something on a dead body though.
Yeah, not really.
Most of the stuff you're testing, I'm assuming, is like, hey, a supplemental. They were at this state before. They're trying this thing for a period of time, and now they're here.
Right. So like a real practical way that is used in a lot of research labs is like a muscle biopsy. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Muscle biopsy. So what you do is you essentially stab through the muscle. Okay. You extract the muscle fiber from the limb, and then you can analyze like if you have what's called type 1 or type 2 muscle fibers, which are used for different training adaptations. And so that would be a practical application where like I'm not taking someone's limb from them, but I'm extracting the muscle fiber. That way I can see how this training protocol or supplement impacted their muscle fiber physiology.
So like they'll do like a core sample, like someone will go like drill the moon for a core sample and come out with it.
Yeah.
How big is that chunk?
Muscle biopsy. I've never had it done. And some labs still do it. Some have moved away from it because it is semi-invasive, but I would think like penny size, maybe a little bit less. No, probably a little bit less.
A penny is like that.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit less. A little bit less.
Okay. But it's not like the size of like a needle. Like it's bigger than a needle.
I'd say bigger than a needle.
It's a big needle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because you're extracting tissue and muscle fibers. So you don't want it to be too small because then you'll go right through. You won't get a solid sample. You like split the sample. So it has to be wide enough where you can get a good sample where it's less than like just a blood draw or something like that.
Okay. So like how... I don't know anything about how the muscle like fibers are doing their thing, but like I always imagined that like everything in the body is like super cellular or super small. Yeah. But apparently to test muscle stuff, like it needs to be a big chunk. Otherwise how do you split the sample? Like
I would think just not getting a good enough sample. So if you think like cellular level and then muscle fiber is going to be a little bit bigger than that. So you want to get a big enough sample to where you can extract that out.
Okay, I have an image in my head of a guy who's done this like 30 times. He's got all these like dots run down his leg. Yeah. Do they like use the same people over and over or?
Mm-hmm. Some studies will be, so like a lot of the studies are longitudinal. So you check them at baseline, you check them at 4 weeks, check them at 8 weeks. And so each visit, you'll do a biopsy to see how things are changing. So
presumably there's enough time in between samples for the muscle to completely regrow,
to relax and recover. Yeah. And what I've heard, again, I've never had this done, but I've heard that like part of the reason why I think research labs are moving away from it is because one, it requires a lot of teaching to teach someone how to properly take a biopsy, and you don't want someone to mess up because if you mess up and have to retake the sample, then your participant is getting stabbed in the thigh like 2 or 3 times before you can get a good sample. So
oh my God.
Our lab in particular doesn't do muscle biopsies. I think it used to, but we've moved away from those less invasive procedures.
So what is a different way to take a sample that's not invasive?
That's a good question. Oh, actually, so you can do blood markers. There's a couple blood markers that you can look at that will give you an idea of your muscle fiber type. It's a different blood marker, whether it's type 1 or type 2, but you can just do a blood sample and it'd be a lot easier.
So they'll take your blood and then they can tell by looking at the things in your blood what kind of muscle is like where. Like your blood's running through your entire body. How do they know what's where? Or are the supplements you guys are doing targeting all of the muscle fiber in your entire body?
Well, that's the thing with supplements. Like, yes and no. Like, you can't localize where a supplement goes, but you can have a general idea of like, okay, this is used for skeletal muscle versus cardiac muscle. You know what I mean?
I saw a meme the other day of a guy. It was like the text, of course, on the screen, and it's some lady watching a bunch of kids on stage try my musical thing, and they all suck at singing. And the meme is like where my body is putting the protein that I'm taking, that I'm supplementing with.
Oh yeah,
and it's like all these kids suck at singing, and it's like your biceps, your triceps, your glutes, your hamstrings. It goes through everything, and the last kid who's really good at singing is like farts or something.
Yeah, it's a Diary of a Wimpy Kid is what the movie is. Yeah.
Oh,
I literally just saw that the other day.
Was it good?
No, not the movie, the meme. I saw the meme.
So have you seen the movie?
Seen the movie? Yeah.
Was the movie also?
Yeah,
good?
The movie is.
Did you read the books? Because
for sure.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing in like high school for me.
For sure.
Which must have been like kindergarten or something for you.
Wait, how old are you again?
I'm 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 25.
Oh,
you're not that much older.
We're basically the same age.
Yeah, you're on for this though.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So, okay, PhD. You get the big D, the big MD or whatever you get to put on your name, right?
Well, not MD. People get mad because that's medical doctor.
Oh,
so I'm just DR.
A DR.
Yeah.
So you would become Dr. Ian Bivins.
That's right. Dr. Bivins.
And then the like all the real doctors like then poo-poo you for calling yourself a doctor.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
and then all your friends start sending you like pictures of their problems, like, what is this bump on my skin, doctor? Like, I don't know what that is.
That's right.
I can't help you.
Yeah, you got to be careful with those. You never know, like, hey man, I got this patch, like what does this bump look like? I've been having a lot of unprotected sex lately.
Oh man. Yeah, that's not my specialty. You're on your own on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. So like what comes after the PhD?
What does come after the PhD? Who knows?
More schooling, is that on the table?
Why not? Let's just keep putting more letters. Put more letters in front of my name. Get the MD. What else? What's the nutrition one? RD. RD would be registered dietitian.
Okay.
But no, I think after the PhD, I'm good. Yeah, I think after. Again, who knows? But I think ideally something that I'm working with people, whether that's training, whether that's teaching. Still up in the air on the research side of things. The PhD is really my first intro into research methods and actually doing research. And so I'm still up in the air on if I'd want to continue to do that after.
Right, because like research can be a whole like industry. It can be a career. Right. So
yeah. Usually the two routes with the PhD is people go academia or they go industry. So if you go academia, then you could go obviously teaching route, or you could go research route, because universities will hire for both, where your primary role might be just do research, just bring money to the university, or your primary role is you're a lecturer, you teach like a 3 to 4 class course load. So that would be the academia route. And then the industry route, again, that could be anything in my field. It could be as far as like working for a supplement company, working for an athletic team, collegiate team, again, private training,
A downhill
whatever.
mountain biking team.
Downhill mountain biking
Could
team.
be.
Could be. Who knows?
Okay, so you've got experience teaching classes right now.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think you could be Professor Dr. Ian Bivins?
Yeah. Yeah. I love teaching. Teaching was a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed presenting. Like that was never a very I don't know, demanding or like a scary task. And so I thought I would enjoy teaching. And then, yeah, I feel like once I got in the classroom, just being able to make an impact on a few students that like really care is a good feeling. So,
Are you telling me all of the students don't really care?
yeah. Are you surprised?
Yeah, I'm shocked. We're talking about like Texas A&M, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. All of the students care. I can
Oh,
guarantee you.
You're right. My bad.
Yeah.
Every single student in every class at Texas A&M cares 110%
Of course.
about what they're learning.
That's right. That's how we maintain the reputation that we have.
That's right.
It's the best academic school you could possibly go to. So
I kind of forgot that you were an Aggie.
yes, I was.
Yeah.
I was indeed. Now I was a metal and plastics Aggie. I was not a human body Aggie. I learned how to make things with stuff. Yeah, but so teaching is a solid maybe. So you say only some of the students care. How do you like as a percentage? What would you say of the class? Can you tell just by grades? Like, how do you know?
I don't know. Like for my class, it's very writing intensive, and so like my students had to write 8 to 12 page lab reports, and when you're writing 8 to 12 pages, it becomes pretty clear if you are putting a lot of thought into what you're writing or if you're just, trying to hit a page limit. We've all been there.
This one time when I was in, I want to say like first grade, I pulled the fire alarm in my school and I had to write I think it's like an 8,000 word essay on why the firefighting system is so great.
Oh my God.
Right. Which as a first grader is like an infinite amount of words.
That's a lot of words.
It's a lot of words. It's like, I don't have that many words in my brain.
Yeah.
So like you can tell in the essays. Do you notice, can you tell when kids are like just having AI write them something, or like, how do you do that whole thing?
Yeah.
Do you even care? Like,
of course. Of course, I'm representing Texas A&M University.
Oh, that's right. How could I forget?
Yeah, you can tell, and sometimes I'd say the main way that you can see it is when students are careless. Like AI or ChatGPT has a really obvious like bullet point font or underlining where it like bolds and underlines and bullet points in a very specific way, and so you can tell it was just copied and pasted. Exactly from ChatGPT. So that's happened a couple times, maybe once or twice.
Yeah, not a whole lot at the school like this, because they wouldn't let those kinds of students in.
Yeah, the Aggie honor code, right?
That's right.
Don't lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate people that do.
That's right. That's right.
Like that.
I would make the argument that like pretty much everything in the world is copied from everybody else. So like that only can kind of go so far.
Yeah.
But I don't know, being that lazy to just copy it and paste it without reformatting or something,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you had to write an essay nowadays, how would you use AI to help you with the essay without totally removing your critical thinking and input?
Yeah, it's a good tool. I mean, I won't lie, we use it a bunch at the graduate level too. But I would say it can be used to kind of help you formulate like ideas and kind of extract ideas. Like say you're writing about a topic like protein, something super easy. So you have protein, but you could use it to extract it to be like, what is protein good for when I eat it? And AI might give you back, it's good for muscle building, it's good for bone health, it's good for your metabolism, like all these different things. So I think it can be good for that, to kind of like broaden your scope on a topic, but obviously you don't want to be using it to just copy and paste straight from what it's saying.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably not gonna get in trouble for this now. I got in trouble for it when I was in school, but there was an essay I had to write. I went to a private Catholic school, and I had to write an essay on like 2 saints or something. And I wrote the essay on the first saint, and I was like, man, that was exhausting. I got to do the second one now because it's like due the next day, of course.
Yeah.
And I waited, and so I went to Google, which was our powerful tool at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, just Googled the saint, and I found a great article on him. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So I highlighted the whole page, pasted it in the Word document. And then, being the clever son of a bitch that I am, I went through and I would change words like his name to him, or like I'd change it to a pronoun, or, I'd like modify.
Yeah. Big brain.
Yeah.
Big brain.
That's right. I'd reword some of the sentences to break it up,
Yeah.
And then I'm never going to forget the moment the teacher pulled me out of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had the essay on her hand, and she had just wrote F with a big red letter on the front, and she said, "This is not yours." No. And I was like, "Oops."
That's tough.
That one. So
that's tough.
Yeah, but like it's interesting how at the time it honestly didn't feel like I was taking. Obviously, I was taking somebody else's writing, but I was like, that's all I'm doing anyway. I'm looking up facts about the saint, and then I'm rewriting it in my own words.
Yeah.
Like I'm just skipping the middleman.
Yeah.
So
and you did your own original research on the man. You were putting the effort in to Google it.
I Googled him.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So in case we have some mountain bikers watching this, which is likely to happen at some point, I would love to know. Shout out mountain biking. Shout out all the mountain bikers out there. I would like to dig into how we can extract all the wonderful information that is in your brain to help them also get better at biking.
Oh.
Yeah. So like you've been training me for a few months or something now, it feels like. Maybe a few weeks. I don't know. It's been some amount of time.
I don't know when we started, but it feels like, I started back in January. So it's probably been about 3 months now.
Yeah.
I've known you've been training.
And you've apparently done a good job, because I was able to bring home the W for the home team.
Let's go.
So what are some of the things you have seen that you've learned or heard from me that you had to adapt to with the sport and how I describe it, or anything you've seen? Like, what are some things off the top of your head that if you were talking to a mountain biker out there, you'd be like, man, Sam was doing this wrong. He should do this. I have my own ideas, but I want to hear what you think.
Yeah. So your question is, like, as a mountain biker, what are like practical things you can do that I saw in you that you needed for your training?
Yeah. Like briefly just summarize your experience with me. It was like basically a way to say it.
With training. Yeah. Well, I'd say, when Rachel mentioned you, she was like, yeah, there's this guy, Sam, he mountain bikes, and I just make him do legs because he doesn't like doing legs. So she was like, you don't have to do anything upper body, just make him do legs.
Oh my God. I did not know that. Rachel, we're going to clip this and we're going to send it to you. That is so funny. Okay. So legs. Yeah.
She was like, I think you'd be great with him. And it sounded like she gave you a good solid foundation. Like the stuff she was already doing with you was really good. Some of the stuff y'all were doing with the trap bar, the split squats, like y'all had a good amount of power and explosiveness. And so really, I feel like I wasn't really doing anything super novel or super creative, but just getting an idea of who you are and what the sport requires, because I'd never worked with anyone that had done mountain biking before. But just kind of getting an idea of, what's required, and talking with you, about like foot position when you're riding. What are the main muscles that are keeping you stable? What are some of the weaknesses that could cause you to get off your path or whatever it might be? And so I feel like just through some of those conversations, then I kind of formulate an idea of things we can work on.
Yeah. Were there like some main things you remember from, like, if I forgot and you had to tell me again what I needed to be strong in, what would you recommend me to work out?
Yeah. Well, I think we focused like early on. I think we focused obviously on the big compound movements. So I had you doing like a Romanian deadlift and lower reps too, like really focusing on total body strength. And then what we also did with you was we focused on like different ranges of motion. So like if you remember doing those like split squats where I had you go from a rack position. Oh,
it's all good. Doing it live. He's all good. He's recovering over there.
I was gonna try and
it's probably good.
Demonstrate. Where you were at a rack and you were just split squatting.
Oh, yeah,
up
yeah,
and down.
Yeah.
So we did those, or like the ones where you're holding the bar in your elbow creases.
That was really, really uncomfortable on my arms. I'm not gonna lie.
The Zerchers is what we call those.
That's like I the feeling I could describe wasn't like skin. It was like I'm gonna pop each and every one of the veins that's in my arm right there. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. So I think just through those conversations, like obviously big picture, it was a lot of core, a lot of like hips, and then just overall being like strong from top to bottom, like whole body strength, because it's not just your legs that are doing the work. It's also your upper body being able to hold on, your grip strength, things like that.
And picking up very heavy bars is a great way to have strong grip strength.
Yeah. And I don't know what Rachel and your training looked like before I came, but I know, especially when I got to training with you, I was like, all right, like 6 reps, 4 reps, like we were going pretty heavy.
Yeah. My training with Rachel was mainly like just make me sick kind of leg days. It was like there was talking going on, but not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to get her to talk. I tried to get conversations going because otherwise she would just keep me going.
So you get a longer rest time.
That's right. Yeah.
We know y'all's tricks.
Yeah, man. And bless her heart, she did a great job, which is why I'm strong.
Yeah.
But there was definitely the Bulgarian split squats with weight was like totally revolutionary for me.
Yeah.
That was like a movement. I was like, I'm not used to having to push this hard with my lips, with my legs.
Never done
like
those
this.
before.
Yeah. So like that was really novel. And it also like hurt a lot. And one of the things that I wonder is that it's obviously still hurts when you work out.
Yeah.
But like there's like this level you get to where it's like you're either used to the discomfort,
right,
or you just like it just doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah.
Like I can do a lot of weight and more reps and like, yeah, it's painful, but like I didn't feel like this when I started working out.
Right.
Would you agree? Is that like a similar thing?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that was one of the things that you and I actually talked about a few weeks ago, where I was like, you have the mindset where you want to push yourself past your limits. Like most people have an idea of where their maximum limit is, and you're like, no, there's no maximum limit because I'm just gonna exceed it every time. And so I feel like that was one of the things I talked to you was like, we should continue to do that in your training, is like add in things that require you to push, whether that's like not even giving you a rep limit, just be like, go until you can't no more.
Yeah, dude.
Go past 15, go past 20, just till you can't. I feel like that's really what pushed your training too, and translates a little bit to mountain biking too, because I can't imagine what it's like, but when you're going that fast down a hill, I imagine it's like go or don't. Like there's no decision making that you can critically think at the time. It's just react and go and react and go.
Yeah.
And so I feel like being able to like push yourself past those limits translates to mountain biking. Would you agree?
I think so. Yeah. Like one of the biggest things I noticed was like the ability to focus yourself while you're uncomfortable is like part of the reason you need to be able to put yourself at that max limit.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, now everything hurts. I'm completely exhausted. I can't hold this position anymore,
Yeah.
but I have more to go. Like I
Right.
need to do more.
Right.
And so it's like, well, how do I practice the art of convincing my brain to do that?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say so. I think one of the things that I've noticed since I've gotten back into racing, since being in the gym training with Rachel and you and Josh in the beginning, was the when you're at the top of the race course, like you get up into this start ramp thing and you're the only one there. Like it's, you're the main guy who's about to go down the course and everybody's either waiting behind you or there's nobody left or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's all on you. Like you're now going to be on the course and there's probably somebody else farther down the course, but like, it's like your moment. Right. And that's the moment when most racers feel this like sinking gut feeling. It's like, oh my gosh, like all the pressure is on me.
Yeah.
I have one shot to like physically perform here. What if I mess this up? What if I mess that up? And like, that's where all the head game matters.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I started to notice was like, I was just less anxious in that position. Cause I was like, okay, like this is not going to feel good and it's going to be hard, but like I'm strong.
Yeah.
And so like, I know I can physically take it. And I also am used to making myself uncomfortable at this point.
Yeah.
And so just like the whole discomfort thing is less, I would say.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned so specifically the hips and the core.
Yeah.
I was just watching a video the other day on YouTube and everybody has their own opinions, honestly, but a very commonly agreed upon thing in mountain biking is a lot of the work is in your hips. A lot of the steering is in your hips.
Yeah.
And one of the easiest ways to injure yourself is to have hips that can't move around a lot. Partially because you're not going to be able to control the bike in the way it needs to be controlled. And secondarily, because when you fall off the bike, undoubtedly, as you will at some point, like you're going to hit rocks and you're going to have to like run down a trail. You're going to hit a tree. Like the ability to flex around will save injuries.
Yeah. For sure.
And I think it's really cool. I didn't know that at the beginning of this year, but one of the things that Rachel and you did is, first of all, started training my legs, which was great. I absolutely needed that. I had no idea. I had been doing core and upper body for, maybe some squats in the bar.
Yeah.
Like once.
Just got to be able to pedal fast.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole posterior chain, like the lower back, all this, like there's so many things that were introduced that were like catching me up on weak spots, especially because of how most people sit to work. Most people aren't like actively climbing around doing stuff. So that was a big thing that I noticed was different, was as soon as you strengthened all that stuff, it was like I was just capable of so much more on the bike because I had a bigger fuel tank for it.
Yeah.
So I noted the other morning, it actually surprised me. I was just doing sprints on the bike on a grass field. I was just going back and forth. I was just sprinting, and I was amazed how much like glute and hamstring was tired and exhausted from the sprinting of the bike. And I was like, oh, well, I had imagined that like that's all quads because you're pushing, you're just pushing down. But like I would imagine, and maybe you could elaborate on this, part of the reason that like the hamstrings and the glutes are so engaged is like when you're on a mountain bike, you're not standing straight up. You're almost completely horizontal. Like your chest is somewhat parallel to the ground.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate a little bit on like the mechanics of how that would work?
Yeah.
And what should be strong and like how that functions?
Yeah. I think what you're feeling is normal. Like in order to extend at the hip, to like push your hips back, your glutes are going to be engaged. Like your glute medius is going to be engaged. Your hamstrings, something like your internal hip flexors are going to have to be strong in order to like push your hips back in the bike, like you're saying, and lean your chest forward. Kind of like any sort of hip hinging exercise, like your Romanian deadlift, like a kettlebell swing, like we've done. Like those exercises you feel throughout your whole posterior. And so I feel like that directly mimics that position on the bike. So it makes sense. And in line with that, and I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday, was if those muscles are weak, then your body kind of cops out and goes towards what's strongest next. And
Oh.
usually for most people, it's going to be low back. And so this is where like a lot of low back pain arises, or even you might have experienced this on the bike. Like, man, my lower back was really sore after riding today. But if your glutes are weak, if your hamstrings are weak, your body's going to start to rely on your low back. So that's why, like you're saying, a lot of people that have sedentary jobs, they start to experience this low back pain just because these muscles are weak and they're tight. And so your body starts to just rely on what's stronger, and that is your lower back.
I will say, when I was in high school and I was riding downhill, I frequently would, like, the first thing to tire out on my body was my lower back.
Yeah.
After like riding multiple laps in a day. And I just like, are my handlebars in the wrong height? Like, is there something wrong geometrically on the bike? Am I too big for the bike? What's going on here? Yeah. Apparently I was just weak as shit and I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So, man.
So everything has to be strong, like from top to bottom, low back, glutes, hamstrings. I mean, even your calves, we don't do a whole lot of calf work. Oops. But from top to bottom, everything has to be strong. And then obviously, like you were saying, everything also has to be flexible in some manner to prevent injury. Like, you can't just have strong muscles and be stiff and rigid, because then that's no good either. So some sort of balance between flexibility and strength, obviously.
What is the, how do you recommend somebody go about maintaining the flexibility as well? Like, if you were going to approach, you got 5 days a week to work out and train.
Yeah.
Should you like gym hard one day, stretch hard one day? Should you like stretch after working out every day? How do you approach that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So definitely, I mean, stretching, like static stretching, like we're talking about, where you're just holding on the muscle in a position. Obviously, it's going to be best to do that at the end of a workout, because you don't want to stretch your muscles before you train them. Stretch, there's a difference between warming up and stretching.
The reason for that would be
tearing a muscle.
So you can, if you stretch a muscle out and then you try to like use it really hard, it's too stretchy,
too elastic, breaks. And so it could tear. Yeah. So that's the difference between warming up a muscle, like a dynamic warm up, versus like a static stretch. And so it's always best to static stretch.
Got it.
It's always best to static stretch at the end of a workout, because that's when the muscles are already tired. So it'll also help you stretch deeper. And I'm sure you can attest to this from your gymnastics career. But if you tire a muscle out, it's going to be easier to stretch it, because it's already fatigued.
It's like I can't hold back the stretch. Just stretch me out.
Just go. Like, if you do a real heavy squat to failure, and then you just stretch as deep as you can. And I've heard of people doing this method to increase flexibility. Like, you just tire out a muscle as much as you can, and then you stretch it to increase flexibility over time.
And the over time part, like, how quickly could one expect to, like, get their middle splits, if they're stretching every day? Like, how does that work? Is it purely just like, how much time are you stretching it out? Can you overstretch after a workout?
Oh yeah, you can definitely overstretch.
How do you know where that line is?
It's hard. I think when you're stretching yourself, you kind of know where that line is, because you can mentally feel like, okay, here's a stretch, and it won't. Sometimes your body, your mind just won't let you push past that point. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like overstretching would just be, exceeding that. Holding in a stretch for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes is way too long. Like, the recommended would be, so if you were to stretch at the end of your workout, a good recommendation would be to do 2 to 3 rounds, about 20 seconds holds.
Really?
Static holds.
20 seconds?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like very long. I've definitely sat on the floor in like a straddle.
Yeah.
I just sat there for minutes on end.
Yeah, not very long at all. And it, of course, it depends on function. It depends on sport. Depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But just in general, 2 to 3 rounds, 20 to 30 seconds per muscle group is plenty. Plenty.
Dang. So like, is it, and that's enough to like gain the I'm flexible thing across like a year?
I would say. Yeah. If you were to do that every single day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, if you found a good stretching regimen where you're doing 2 to 3 rounds, 20 to 30 seconds each muscle, you're going to increase flexibility for sure. And I mean, you can progress it just like you can progress an exercise and gain strength and gain reps. You can continue to progress your stretching by holding for longer, doing more rounds. But as a starting point and like just general health, to keep your muscles elastic and flexible, that would be the best place to start.
Got it. So for someone who's doing a lot of mountain biking, I would imagine like the easy answer would be you want everything to be flexible and you want everything to be strong. But if there were some things to focus on, would you want the same muscles that you're strengthening to be the ones that you are also maintaining flexibility on? And are there other things that are baked into stretching that are more joint related than muscle stretchiness? Like my hips, for example, like there are positions my hips don't like to be in because they're not used to it. But it's not like nothing's stretching. It's like the joint itself is off. Is this making any sense?
Yeah, you're asking kind of like the difference between stretching a joint almost to the point of like discomfort or just like an uncomfortable position versus like stretching a muscle.
Yeah.
Like what would be good to focus on for mountain biking specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like you said, it comes down to the muscles that you're using. So if you're really using your glutes on the bike, if you're using your hamstrings, your quads, having those elastic and flexible is going to be beneficial. But then also from a full body standpoint, like some of the stretches I've had you do, like a lumbar twist where you're crossing one leg over the other, kind of opening up
so good.
your whole lumbar spine.
Yeah.
I do it probably every day.
Yeah.
So some of those I'd say are more, because you mentioned joints. So some of those stretches are more kind of, full body kind of encompassing, whether it's your full posterior chain or, multiple muscle groups at a time. So
what would you, if you're going to tell a mountain biker out here he's going to go to the gym for the first time, he's going to start training.
Yeah.
What's the first set of exercises he should do without destroying himself? That would make the biggest impact, do you think?
Yeah. Well, gold standard, and this goes for anyone out there, if you only got a few days a week to work out, to lift, you should do 2 to 3 days of a full body routine. So every single muscle group hit on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you work out full body Monday, rest on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, with a rest day in between. And so that would be gold standard if you want to get the most benefit from weightlifting, because it's going to be 3 days a week of frequency. So you're doing every single muscle group 3 times a week, and then you're getting adequate rest in between. And so from a mountain biking standpoint, then some of the things that we're going to want, like we talked about, strong posterior chain. So I would have some sort of squat pattern, be that a barbell squat, even a leg press would be a beginner way that's still going to mimic a squat pattern, but it's going to be less intense, less invasive, less bracing of the core. And then I would do some sort of hinge pattern. So that could be a Romanian deadlift like we've done. A kettlebell swing would be a little bit more of a powerful hinge movement. You could do a back hyper, like we've also done, where your thighs are in those pads. That would be another sort of hip hinge movement. So that would be the best place to start to get your lower body covered. And then once you have those, then it's pretty easy from there. Have one sort of push. So chest press, shoulder press, add some sort of pushing movement. And then you could add either a horizontal row or a vertical pull, getting into our exercise terminology. So your horizontal pull would be like a row, a cable row.
Yeah.
Vertical pull, right, like a lat pull down.
Okay.
So that would be the best place to start. So that covers, because now you got squat, hinge, you got a push and a pull. That's already a solid regimen right there, if you do those 4 exercises. And then on top of that is kind of just accessory stuff. So like for mountain biking, you want a strong core. So throw a crunch in there, throw a plank in there. You could do some sort of rotational core, like I don't really like Russian twist. Those aren't my favorite.
Yeah.
But you could do something with a medicine ball, like a medicine ball rotation. So you could throw a core in there.
I've heard a lot of people say the anti-rotational strength as well, because a lot of the bike is trying to move you around and you're trying to stay straight.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
Okay.
When we threw that into your plan, like the Palloff presses that we do.
Yeah, those are so good.
Yeah, those are great. Those are a good anti-rotational. So anti-rotational, anything where you're having to hold a static movement without being moved by a load. So you could do that like on the cable, like we've done with a Palloff. Even some things, I wouldn't know if this would classify as anti-rotational, but have we done a like rotational core with the landmine, where you have the barbell on the ground and you're rotating?
Rachel has done that with me.
Yeah. So that's not really like anti-rotational. That's almost pro-rotational.
Yeah, but it also.
But either way,
like I notice whenever I do that thing will tire out my core in a way that nothing else does.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't normally hurt like that deep into my spine. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It was probably good because it was weaker. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So that'd be good. That's a great place to start. I mean, if you throw all 5 of those things in, and then you could add in arms, because who doesn't want big biceps or triceps? So if you go squat, hinge, push, pull, core, throw in some arms, curls for the girls, is what the kids are saying nowadays. If you throw in those like 5 or 6, that's a great workout, top to bottom.
So are you saying that because that's a lot of individual exercises, and if you were trying to fit that in an hour or an hour and a half, like you're not gonna get a super high level of intensity or burnout of any particular set. Like when I was working out with Rachel, if we were going to do like a leg day, we were going to absolutely like nuke my legs for an hour straight. Right.
Yeah.
Which was probably made them stronger faster, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But if you only have a few days a week, it's better to just like make all the touch points.
Yeah. And, everyone has a different kind of training style, training philosophy, and there's no real right or wrong answer. But the way I view training and personal training too is, and this isn't my analogy. I forget who I heard this from. I think it was John Jewett, who is that the J3U certification that I have.
Okay.
It's from this coach John Jewett, but he uses this analogy of a runway. And so, like, if I want to work with you as my client, I view your progress as a runway. And so I could, let's say, from the start of the runway to when you're speeding up, like maximum performance. Mm-hmm. So start of the runway would be like baseline. We're going to start working out 2 days a week. We're going to do 3 or 4 exercises 2 days a week, 3 sets of 10, whatever. It's going to be a 45-minute hour workout. Whereas maximum all-out intensity is we're going to work out 5 or 6 days a week, 2 hours of training, like maximum training results. And so if you're someone that's coming to me as a beginner, why would I train you 5 or 6 days a week if you're going to see results off of 2 days a week? Because if I train you 5 or 6 days a week, there's all of this progress that you could have made that we just shortened your runway. And so one, as a coach, I'm just going to say, as a coach, if I shorten your runway, I'm kind of doing myself a disservice. Because I could train you for 3 or 4 months. I could train you for 3 or 4 months.
You just cut the lifetime value of the customer in thirds.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
And so, but this applies to training too. And so, because the goal with you is, right, you want to be at your best.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get to your best.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if I just kind of throw a whole bunch of random things at you at max intensity, you're gonna get really good workouts, and you're gonna feel like you got a really good workout because, man, we crushed you, like we killed you.
Yeah.
But it's kind of this stepwise process where if I can continue to get results out of you with lower intensity, less exercises, then you're gonna, by the time you get to the point where you are working out 5 or 6 days a week,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna be much better trained. You're gonna be stronger, faster, quicker than you ever were gonna be if we started you there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And like, it leaves a lot of room to like grow into the position.
Right. And there's practical applications to this too. Like, I mean, injury is a real possibility. Like, if I progress you way too fast, if you lift way too heavy, way too fast, your muscles can adapt. You'll get stronger, but your joints and your tendons adapt a lot slower. And so if 1 week we're lifting 100 pounds, the next week I give you 300 pounds. Sure, your muscles, your brain might be able to do it, but there's a real cause of injury here because your tendons and your joints haven't had time to catch up. So, and that plays a lot into when you're working with professional athletes, when you're working with collegiate athletes, because these guys are best of the best. You can stack on strength and speed and power real fast. But if their tendons and their joints, their things can't catch up, that's when we get, our ACL tears, our Achilles tears. Some of these injuries will occur because of that. Let's go.
We got Jon Snow over here hanging out, just barely out of the shot. He decided to keep company. Man, so like that would be cool to imagine. I don't know how much training a like factory team professional. All I do is downhill mountain bike race. I'm at the top of the world, like doing the best.
Yeah.
I don't know how much those guys train. But there's also a lot of people in this particular sport that like they do it because it's fun and it's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I personally think there's a lot of room for people who can put that effort in to like get to the higher ranks relatively quickly. Now, like a lot of it's not necessarily about fitness, but still, like having that edge is it's gonna leave a lot of room for success. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, I think you're right. And I mean, that's not, I wouldn't say this mountain biking specific either, but across a lot of different sports. I mean, you probably even know this from just playing sports yourself. Like whenever you're a kid and you play sports, or even in high school, like you just eat whatever you can. You eat fast food. You do the workouts at school, but like if we never really focused when we were in the weight room, like we were always just messing around, just being guys.
Yeah.
And so of course you don't really realize those things when you're in high school and when you're a kid. And then when you think about it now, you're like, man, I wonder how much better I would have been at my sport had I focused on my nutrition, had I actually like cared about my training whenever I was younger. And so I think there's a huge opportunity in sports like that, whether it be mountain biking. I was talking to someone recently about actually that was today. We were talking about wrestling and UFC and MMA. Like nutrition is a huge part of those combat sports because you're having to make weight. And so some of these sports, there's a huge area for growth where I feel like, my field, nutrition and supplementation, plays a huge role in it, to helping people Like, know what their capabilities are. Know that there is room for improvement, you know?
Yeah. So like in those particular sports, like they need to be theoretically as light as possible, but with like the best density of nutrition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of like whenever you're in a combat sport, say you have to make weight at 150. Most of the time, if you're making weight at 150, you're going to train around 165, 170, 175 for as long as you can, because that's going to be where you're the strongest, where you're the fastest, where you have the most power. And then the goal would be like the closer you get to competition, to making weight at 150, the more you start to cut weight while also trying to keep your training as high as possible, because you don't want to lose any of those muscle adaptations. So
like you can keep the same strength.
Keep the same strength, the same power, but you're now 25 pounds less. So you're fighting a guy that's 150, you know, whereas in reality,
But he
you're
packs the punch
175.
of a 175 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Those combat sports are crazy, but crazy nutritional protocols for those guys, hydration protocols, the weight cutting is insane. It's wild.
Do you think so in the world of building houses, there's like framers who swing hammers, right?
Sure.
There's all kinds of arguments about what should that hammer be made of, right?
Sure.
Is it wood? Is it like a hickory handle with titanium head? Is it a steel head? You know, they weigh different amounts. They have different toughnesses, different hardnesses, all that.
Uh-huh.
As an example, I know personally when I went from using a crappy cheap hammer to using a, $100-something, it's called a stiletto, but it's a titanium head. It's a fancy hammer. Yeah, it's a stiletto.
Sick.
Yeah, it is sick. It's out in my garage if you want to see it. You don't. It's just a hammer. But like the idea was the hammer itself weighs less. The head of the hammer is lighter. But because of how kinematics works, because it's lighter and my handle is just as long as a heavy hammer, I can swing it faster.
Yeah.
And kinetic energy being, equal to 1/2 mass times velocity squared.
Of course.
If I have a bigger impact in the velocity, okay, I can speed the hammer up faster because it's lighter. Then my total energy I'm putting into a nail is more. So I'm curious if that was how that might be true for these fighters. Like they get all this strength and they have the same power, but then they make themselves lighter, and it's like now they're just like packing these mean punches.
Yeah.
Like, no other. What's been your
exactly
experience so far? Like, have you dabbled or gotten to train anybody in that sort of field?
Combat sports. No, I haven't. I've just kind of recently gotten more and more insight into that area. Just through the PhD program in general. We have some professors that are associated with our lab and that are working with different universities that specialize in combat sports. So I haven't gotten to do much. My only weight cutting experience has been with bodybuilding, which is similar but very different. Bodybuilding, you usually go more of a slow, tapered approach. So you cut weight over, the course of can be 12, 16, 20 weeks long, where you're just losing body fat.
Okay.
So it's a very slow, gradual approach. Whereas with combat sports, since performance is a factor, like I was telling you, you want to train at the highest capacity as long as you can, and then you cut weight like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out from competition. So combat sports are very aggressive cuts, and it's a lot more water weight as well that these guys are cutting. It's common for these guys to lose like 10 to 12 pounds of water weight over one day.
And are they just like dehydrating themselves?
Basically? Yeah. Saunas, hot tubs, sweating it out. If you talk to any wrestlers, they talk about like spitting in cups, like anything you can do to just get rid of water, saliva.
Wow.
So they'll do, really aggressive water cuts where most oftentimes you taper up water. So you'll drink like 3-4 gallons a day, maybe like a week out. So day 7, you're drinking 3 gallons. Day 6, you're drinking 4 gallons. Day 5, you're drinking 5 gallons, and then you start to cut it all. So then you just sweat it all out. So you usually taper up and then cut it all out.
What's the reasoning behind adding all of the water before trying to?
You just make yourself
properly hydrate before you destroy your
something like that.
Okay.
Something like that. I don't know the specific kind of physiology behind it, but I guess as you taper up, then once you start cutting it all out, then it starts to flush a lot faster.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
In the sport of downhill mountain biking, how would you approach that style of like the individual taper versus like the seasonal taper? How would you describe like the story or the not the story, the fitness arc of a season?
Mm-hmm.
So for downhill, most of the racing happenings in the summer because it's in the mountains. We need the snow to be melted.
Sure.
And so like
unless you're in Texas,
and then you can race in the winter time. That's right. Get those practice laps in.
Right on.
So how would you recommend somebody approach like a season like that where, you know, you're going to be part of a series that's going to have, let's say 12 races.
Okay.
Or anywhere from 6 to 12 races between April and September.
Yeah. And that's when you want to be, you know, at your best, at your fighting weight. You know, you want to be at your best weight where you got your strength, your power. Yeah.
Yeah. Like how would you approach like maintaining that, your nutrition and avoiding burnout and all that?
That's a good question. So timeline like April to September, and then say you have like 12 competitions in between there. So would that be, it's pretty much riding like every other weekend for a competition?
Let's assume it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of like a year of training to really maximize your gains, you'd kind of run it like we call it an off season versus an in season. So whenever you're off season, November through April, that should be like your highest amount of like weight room training, conditioning. Like you should be getting your highest amount of training in that off season period. That's 6 months between November to April. And then making all of your adaptations. And then as you transition into like a more of an in season from April to September, that's when like the goal becomes maintenance. So all the work that you did on over the off season, say you were working out 5 days a week in the off season. Now, once we get into in season, what we're really going to focus on is 3 to 4 days a week. Still prioritizing, the main thing to prioritize is intensity. Like you want to be doing the same amount of weight, the same speed, same power, but less volume.
Okay.
So in the off season, if we're doing 6 days a week and we're going to do, let's just say, so over 6 days a week, let's say we're doing, we'll say 50 sets of a full body. Mm-hmm. So our muscles are getting 50 sets of work in the off season.
Okay.
As you transition in season, the total volume that you're taking is going to be, you'd probably drop that down like 50%, like 25 sets, 30 total sets. But the volume isn't the main priority. The main priority is the weight that you're lifting, the intensity that you're lifting it with, because that's going to signal to your muscles like, we need to keep this. We need to keep the strength and power we have because we need it. But you're just going to cut your volume down so that your body is recovered, so that you can ride. Keep the main thing. Keep your riding at your best and just lower the volume down. The inverse of that would be, let's say you just drop the intensity. So you do 50 sets at 100% intensity throughout the off season. If you, once you transition in season, you start doing half the weights that you were lifting, 60%, 70%, you're basically telling your body like, we don't need this muscle anymore.
Right.
We don't need this power anymore. And so your muscle will listen to that. And it will be like, well, I don't need to be able to produce 100% anymore. I can produce 70% and be okay. And so the goal would be maintain intensity, but decrease the volume as you transition into the in-season period. And this can really be again, this happens with collegiate and professional athletes across the board. Like, you can periodize it, would be the way, the terminology, to where you can increase volume, decrease volume according to like what race matters the most. So say like April, May, you got some warm up races. Like, these are races where, you can be a little bit more beat down from your training.
I see.
And you can still train higher, maybe a little less recovered, but they're weaker races. So, you're still going to edge out first because you got some weaker riders, versus you're going to periodize, you're going to prioritize when the championship series is, right? This is when we need to be at our all-time best. We can't, what's the word I'm looking for? We can't be hurting. We have to be recovered. We have to be our all-time best. And so you would kind of periodize that around the training schedule and around your competitions. And it's the same thing with collegiate athletics. Like, you see them schedule these, like, first week or two of any collegiate sport. Who are you playing? You're playing the scrubs. You're playing the scrubs versus, week 4, University of Alabama comes to town. And like, we got to be at our all-time best. And so collegiate athletes will do this too, where coaches will train them hard because they know, we can get past a small D1 school because we're Texas A&M. But once Alabama comes to town, we got to be at our all-time best. And so you can periodize training around all of this.
Do you think, how would the approach be different? And do you think it's a better or worse approach? For example, for someone like me who lives in Texas and I'm based out of Texas, I can travel for the summer to all these races, take part in all this competition over the summertime. But then when I come back here, like, that's when this winter racing starts over in Austin. Yeah. And so it's like I could race now the volume would be less. There's only one a month across the off season. But like, do you think it's a better approach to just like, hey, I'm just going to maintain this level of strength and skill like nonstop and just keep it super consistent and keep training the same way and just never stop it? Or like, is the off season, on season a better approach to be like, hey, maybe avoid burnout or whatever? Like, if you don't go too hard and you're consistent, it's fine. Yeah. But like, is the opportunity to take a break from the biking and just get really strong, like, is that like a big level up, do you think? Or how would you approach it for someone who could ride all year long?
If you could ride all year long. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it comes down, I think it comes down to what's going to benefit you more. Like, is time on the bike going to be more beneficial, or do I really need to get stronger, better, faster this off season? Like, I think it comes down to where you're at. Like, where are you lacking? Like, is your skill lacking because, I'm just not seeing the course right as I go down, and it's more of like a hand-eye coordination thing. Yeah. And I need more reps on the bike just as practice. Yeah. Or like, is it, no, like, I got the same skill as first place, but dude's just faster. Yeah. Dude's just more powerful. I think that's what it comes down to. Like, is your current status enough to where you can maintain and compete at the best? Or like, do you really need to level up in the gym if we're going to compete at the highest level? And that's when you would go, max amount of effort in the gym. Yeah. Still with your riding, like still incorporating riding, because you got to keep the main thing.
Yeah. I would imagine, like, just this morning, I was in the field with some rope practicing turns, right? Yeah. Like, one of the skills that I need to work on is like, you're not supposed to look right in front of your tire where you're going. You're supposed to be looking over there, 30 feet, 50 feet down the trail, so you can see what's coming, right? Yeah, yeah. Very important skill to have when you're going 30 miles an hour down the trail, because things always change. There could be a rock in the way, things move, like, it's never the same. Mm-hmm. And so I would believe in the beginning, for most people, I'm going to bet that I'm at a place where, like, I'm decently well-rounded in terms of strength now. Yeah. I have never formally been trained how to downhill mountain bike fast. I've just seen YouTube videos and I've watched people do it. And I'm like, I guess I'll do it like him. I'll just try to look like that.
Yeah.
But like, he's thinking of things that like, and people are starting to share more and more on YouTube and all kinds of stuff as more people learn.
Sure.
Just the other day, I learned about this idea of like, when you're on the pedals, you're not just standing on the pedals, but this is part of the reason the hips are so dang important to be strong. But what you're doing is, this is why like the mountain bike can get so complicated, because the cranks can rotate, which means like your body can change positions on the bike depending on if are your feet level and one foot's forward, or is one foot down and one foot's up. And imagine like from a top down perspective, if one foot is down, then the only thing keeping your body balanced front to back is your hands and the feet and the distance between them. Like those are the two things you can push and pull on.
Yeah.
But, or like imagine it this way, try balancing on a bike with one foot down and take your hands off the bars. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Right? But if your pedals are level and you take your hands off the bars, you have two platforms to push against, forward and backward. And one of the things he had described was that you not only want to stand on it and feel that, but you actually want to drop the heel of the front foot and pick up the heel of the back foot and then push them out away from each other. So like you're actively using your hips, because that's the only thing that can do the work. And you're using your hips to basically try to pull the bike apart from the pedals. And what that allows you to do is it gives you like a base to stand on where you can take the pressure off your hands, because now it's not between your hands and your feet, it's all your feet. And so like all of these things combine into, I don't know anything about how to ride a mountain bike.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably something that we should fix.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's like not
not
knowing that there is a better way to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's similar to like watching film for a sport.
How so?
I mean, every single sport, football, basketball, I don't know, baseball watches film really. But like we'll say any sport that has that like real quick like decision making reaction time.
Yeah.
You're watching film, whether it's on yourself or whether it's on your competition, seeing like what's a better way to do this? Like how does he do it? He's really good. I'll use basketball for example. He's a really good ball handler. He can dribble real well. What is he doing that I'm not doing, and how can I mimic that? I think it's kind of similar to what you're talking about with the pedals is.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, if you've like if you've never seen someone dribble with their non-dominant hand, you're just going to get really, really good with your right hand. And you could probably still get by. Like you can play basketball with just your right hand.
Just always go down that side of the court.
But if you want to get to the next level, that's where it comes into what you're talking about. Like what's going to separate you from who's at the top. It's being able to dribble with your left hand. It's being able to pull the bike apart like that guy was saying.
Got it. So like theoretically the most important thing to work at all the time for everybody is like, what's the thing that you are the weakest at?
Yeah.
That is the thing to focus on.
I think so. Yeah. So, correcting where you're weak. And I think we did that with you too.
I would agree. I think so.
Like, I think I remember when we were doing a chest press one time and you were like, well, why do I have my hands like neutral grip? Why do I have my hands facing towards each other? Why not elbows out? Like everyone always goes elbows out. I'm like, well, why not? You're not used to doing that. It's a good position to be strong in. Like, why not work the area that you've never worked before? Or, be strong in all different positions. So that way, if you end up in an awkward position, like same goes for falls, like falling, injury risks. If you end up in an awkward position, you're able to adapt to it. You're stronger in that position, because you've worked on it.
Yeah, the video I was watching the other night was talking about like, it's not just about being strong and being flexible. It's being strong in a flexible position. It's like having the strength when you are out of position from someplace you'd want to be.
Yeah.
One of the ones that Rachel had me doing a while back was like, I had always done curls with the barbell thing with my palms facing up. Cause I was like, that's how you grab. That's just how you do curls. Right. But then she taught me to do it with my hands the other way. And it was like, I could do like 75% of the weight, maybe. Like it wasn't even close.
Yeah. Those are hard.
And it's like, it's the same movement, but I'm sure it's different muscles because it's not working the same.
Yeah.
So
definitely, it's just working those areas that you don't work, that you're weaker in, like I was having you do with those ankle walks where you're walking on your tippy toes, walking on the lateral sides of your ankles, like inversion versus eversion, doing all those things.
That was uncomfortable, so that probably means it's a good idea. Yeah.
Hopefully you'll be stronger and won't roll your ankle as much.
Ankles get moved around a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because of because so much of movement on the bike is about, if I want to go over there, I need to turn my hips like a good 30 degrees that direction.
Yeah.
But my feet are attached to the pedals in a way that does not allow the ankle to rotate.
Yeah.
It's part of the shoe. It's for stability. But like now I'm doing all the same dynamic movement, all the stuff's flying around, but like now I'm like twisting my knee and my ankle, and so like doing all those individual things probably is a very, very good idea. I had to bet.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to think about is what have you learned about the sport so far? Kind of back to the original question, but like after thinking through all these individual things,
sure.
How would you approach the sport for like a new person?
Yeah.
How would you approach training someone for the sport?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, coming back to what we were talking about, being strong from top to bottom, focusing on the areas that you're weak in. And it comes down to a little bit of like self-identify. If you haven't been doing any weight training, start picking up some weights. If you only do weight training but don't do a lot of cardio, maybe don't do a lot of sprints besides just like the 1 minute that you're doing on the bike downhill, maybe you should get your cardio up, and you should start doing intervals, whether it be on the rower, on the bike, running, anything to help get your heart, get your lungs better as well. I think just identify where you're weak at, for someone that wants to get into mountain biking. Identify where your weaknesses are on the bike, and then start to translate that into the gym. So,
would you say that that's the first time the word cardio I think has come up in this entire conversation?
Yeah,
which maybe says something about like what I'm not training. But like all I've been racing is these like 1.5-minute race runs at Spider Mountain, where it's like, I don't have the time to even, like, I'm not kidding, on the race courses that we have, there's maybe less than 10 places where I can even pedal the bike. It's just riding and turning and doing all this other stuff. There's no room to pedal the bike, and so there's definitely, your heart rate gets up because you're very active, but I'm certainly not exhausted. But I guarantee you the Angel Fire race that I go out and do is going to be, it's like 5 times at least the elevation difference. So it's going to be a longer run. It's probably not going to be 5 times the length of the run because I can get up to speed more, but it's going to be different. So like, how do we train cardio? Should we be doing that? Is that an important thing? Yeah. How do you know when you need it? Especially because like I'm going to be at a whole other altitude that has way less oxygen available to me.
Yeah. Well, just from a very practical standpoint, like, why do you need cardio? Why is cardio good?
It's not.
It is.
Sorry, go ahead.
It is. Heart health. So, all right, we've been talking a lot about muscles, but what is getting the blood to your muscles?
Your other muscle.
Yeah, your heart muscle.
Yeah.
And so the only way to increase your cardio, like increase your heart, increase your lung capacity, is by doing cardio. So the better cardio you have, the more blood you're going to push to the muscles, the better they're going to perform. So these two go hand in hand.
Okay.
They're not independent of one another. And so, yes, it is important to train cardio. And like you can get real specific training with it. Like if you know you're going to be doing a 60-second all-out sprint, obviously you want to train in that manner.
Is it that simple? It's like the cardio training should be designed for the thing you're going to do. Like if I know I'm going to sprint for 4 minutes down a mountain, like I can pretty much, like I don't need to be running a half marathon to train for that. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't. I think it's beneficial to train like a little bit past that.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because, you know, there's different energy systems involved from a like substrate metabolism, which is like protein, carbs, and fats.
Okay.
So different energy metabolism is involved with different cardio exercises. And so it's beneficial to train all the different systems. But
so to dumb that down for myself and for maybe others listening, you're describing like the fuel,
right?
And the power, the power source changes depending on how long you've been in a workout.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So like when you're doing the exercise you're doing, like a 60-second, 90-second sprint, it's going to use let me get real sciencey up in here. It's going to use
mitochondria as the powerhouse of a cell.
Yeah. So 60 seconds, 90 seconds of exercise, you're going to use your ATP PC system. So your phosphocreatine system is what that's called. And then you're going to use glycolysis, which is carb metabolism. So carbohydrates.
And that's in the first what?
First 60 to 90 seconds is going to be creatine is your primary substrate, and then carbs.
Is it simple as like the creatine that I put in my shake? Like if I put more creatine in the shake, I can have a longer duration of burn? Is there a limit?
Mm-hmm.
Can I have like 30 grams of creatine in the morning and then just sprint for 5 minutes? Does it work like that?
Well, no, because the creatine system caps out at about 30 seconds. So the energy you get from about 0 to 30 seconds is pretty much all creatine. It's like 80%, 90%. And then it depletes because the storage that you have for creatine is very small. And so it's only active during that first like 15 to 30 seconds, and then it depletes. And you need to rest like 60 to 90 seconds to restore those levels.
Oh, so it comes back. It's not like it's not like I put the 5 milligrams in the cup or whatever, and then I burn it off and now I got to wait till the next day.
No, It comes back. So this is like, it ties right in along with training. Like this is why we have the recommendation to lift weights and rest 30 to 60 seconds between each set, because it refuels those creatine stores.
Oh, and that's one of the first energy things that you're burning to be like, okay,
energy system.
I need motivation to pick this thing up.
It's creatine system that's going to do it.
Okay. And
so once that depletes, you move into glycolysis, which is your carbohydrate metabolism. So it's still going to be active a little bit during those first 1 or 2 reps. But once your creatine depletes, that's when you start to rely on glycolysis.
Which is that's the bagels, the tortillas, the donuts, the cookies.
Your rice. Yeah, all your sugars.
Okay.
Yep. All your sugars. So that's going to be active from about, again, it's active a little bit at the start, and then it's going to deplete around like 60 to 90 seconds is where it starts to slow down a little bit more.
Okay.
And then we start to add in a little bit of like fat metabolism as well.
No, you mentioned those first 2 were part of ATP or something. What's that?
The first one.
The first one?
So the creatine one.
Yeah.
That's called the ATP PC system.
Okay.
And then the second one, totally different system, is glycolysis. So your carb metabolism. And so for your sport specifically, for downhill mountain biking, if you're only on the bike for 60 to 90 seconds, that's primarily just going to be creatine, and it's going to be glycolysis. So ATP and glycolysis.
So if I knew on a spider race run, I'm going to be done in a minute and a half, right? Theoretically, is there some point in the day where I should be like, hey, I'm going to like take an extra dose of donuts and creatine before my race run? I'm sure it's more complicated than that.
Yes. But to get back kind of to the original question, like those are the 2 energy systems that you want to train with your cardio. And so how are we going to train the creatine system? I'm going to have you do 15 to 30 second intervals on the bike. So you're going to do 15 seconds all out as hard as you can. And then you're going to rest for like 30
so we have to like train
the
system to get up to that time limit.
Yeah. Because if you want to get better, if you want to increase your cardio, you got to make those two systems more efficient. So what are the two systems? ATP, PC, or creatine. We'll call that creatine, and then glycolysis.
Okay.
And so we're going to train the creatine system by doing those fast all outs. So 15 seconds, as fast as you can on the bike, and then recover 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Let the creatine replenish, and then 15 seconds all out again. That would be the way to train the first system.
Okay.
And then second system would be pretty similar, but longer restoration.
I would imagine to train the second system, you have to burn through the first system as well.
So instead of 15 seconds on the bike, now you're going to do 90 seconds. You're going to do 2 minutes to fully deplete those carb sources. So you're going to do...
Oh, because what you need to do is you need to tell your body that, hey, your system's not enough. I need more. That's the point. Just like muscle growth.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that's what you're going to do to train glycolysis is you're going to train all out for 90 seconds, 120 seconds, completely deplete that system. And then, if you really want to build it, do that 2 rounds, do that 3 rounds. By the time you've done 3 rounds of a 2-minute all-out sprint, you're gonna be cooked. You're gonna be dead.
Yeah, dude. I mean, 15 seconds of a sprint already, it feels like a lot.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
So how do you, when you're training that, how do you know when you've, when you're can you feel when you're transitioning power systems? Like for someone who's experienced, would you know the difference?
No.
Or you're just like, oh, I'm starting to get, now this hurts. Now it just hurts more.
Yeah.
And what happens after the glycolysis? You just start burning fat? Or
yeah. So there's levels, and I'm giving real strict time points. Like this is when it depletes. This is when it depletes. Yeah. And if you're doing all out max intensity, yes, those time points are pretty specific. But if you're just doing moderate intensity, those energy systems can last you longer. But once you blow past glycolysis, that's when you get into oxidative phosphorylation.
I'm going to remember that one.
Yeah.
Oxidative phosphorylation.
Yeah. So this is your energy system that primarily is going to burn fats. And so it's from a chemical standpoint, it's a much longer reaction. It takes a longer time to occur, which is why...
Is this why the runners are also skinny? Because they just keep burning the fat for stupid periods of time?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. And there's a very, very little bit of amino acid metabolism, so protein metabolism. If you deplete all 3 of those energy sources, again, your body's just going to go for whatever it can find. So it can pull proteins from your muscles. It can pull amino acids and break those down.
Okay, so to really wrap my head around this, if I want to make my muscles stronger,
yes,
the energy that I have in order to make the muscle activate comes from first the ATP PC system.
Yes.
But I'm not that's just giving me electric energy in order to cause the muscle to tear itself.
Yeah, it's giving you ATP.
Okay.
ATP, which is energy.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Huh.
And so then when that depletes, I guess I could probably tell you the amount, to put a numerical value to it.
Yes.
So to put a numerical value to it, your ATP PC system, to break down, say 1 molecule of creatine, that's not right. But to break down 1 cycle of creatine, you're going to generate about 1 to 2 ATP. So not a lot of energy, but it happens so quickly that you get a lot of energy from it. Versus glycolysis, it's slightly longer, right? Longer duration, 60 to 90 seconds. And then it's going to be between 6 to 8 ATP that you're going to generate. So more energy that we're getting out of glycolysis. Versus oxidative phosphorylation, once you get into fat metabolism, that's going to be 28 to 32 ATP. So much more energy. But in order to tap into that system, you need to be exercising for 5 minutes. And so we can't rely on that system. We can't wait 5 minutes if we're doing a 60-second mountain bike sprint. I need energy now.
Yeah.
And so that's why your body is going to rely on the energy system that it can produce ATP the fastest and regenerate it the fastest. So that's why it relies on those first two for what you're doing.
For someone, is it possible to train enough short, high intensity sprints to the point where you can get a 5-minute race run only burning creatine? Or is that just not realistic?
Creatine, no. Creatine would be reaching. It's not going to last you that long. But only burning, only using creatine and glycolysis for 5-minute duration, maybe. You could stretch it.
How does that relate to the whole athletes, make sure you carb up and do that? It's what does that mean? Eat a bunch of spaghetti? What happens if you're trying to do this long burning energy and you didn't eat enough carbs?
Yeah.
It just goes straight to burning fat.
It's not going to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your energy system won't go. So that's, again, it all ties together. You're starting to see full circle.
I am. The circle of life.
We had training, and then we got into how the heart, affects the training. The heart. We didn't even talk about the lungs.
Well, let's talk about the lungs, bro. Okay.
Wait, going back to, let's finish that thought.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you were saying nutrition. That's what we were talking about. That's my thing. So to finish that thought, that's where nutrition comes into play, because if I have more carbs that I've either eaten immediately beforehand or I've eaten a few days leading up into my training and now it's stored, then now when I have to use these energy systems, when I have to use glycolysis, I'm going to have more energy to pull from because I've already fueled my body and my body's ready for it. Same thing with supplementing creatine. That's why you supplement with creatine monohydrate, because if you have more stores there, you're going to use that system for longer. Like you were saying, it's not going to get to 5 minutes, but you can rely on that system more before transitioning to your carbs. So you're going to have better performance.
Yeah. It's like the creatine system is like your NAS. It's like the front end of a majority of the fastest power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So we want more NOS. We'd like the tank to be just NOS. We like to go real fast.
That'd be sick.
How does, real quick, before we go into the lungs, how does the carbs stored? Is there a carb tank somewhere where it's not fat? How does that work?
Yeah. Carbs can store. The main two places are either at the level of the muscle or liver. So intramuscular glycogen or liver glycogen. And there's levels to it as well. You have glucose, which is found in the blood, which is, catabolized carbs. So you have glucose that you can extract from the blood, or you have glycogen, which is stored in your muscles that you can also tap into. And so different levels that you can extract. Again, your body will use what's most readily available first. And so to make what, you got a question?
Hold on, I just blew my mind here. And you're telling me that it's physically location based as well.
Physically there.
My bicep can't use the glycogen carbs that are stored in my quads because it's over here. If I just do a bunch of arm workout, is it gonna move up to my arm through my bloodstream or something?
That's a good question. Your body can kind of store it wherever. Your body can store it wherever, but the more you train, the more you're gonna draw glycogen, water towards the muscle.
Glycogen water? It's like a beverage?
Well, you're gonna draw glycogen, but glycogen holds water.
Okay.
So you're gonna draw both, and water draws blood, and blood is good. We want blood for our muscles.
Okay.
But again, to get practical with it, since we're talking about glycogen, talking about glucose, those are hard terms. But think carbs. So we'll use honey and we'll use pasta, right?
I do like honey and pasta.
Okay.
Not together though.
Perfect. Two very different carb sources. Honey is like very readily available. If I give you like a spoonful of honey right now, like it's gonna hit you fast. It's quick sugars, it's quick glucose.
Okay.
It's a simple carb, it's a simple sugar. So you're gonna break it down really, really fast. Versus pasta is what's called a complex carb.
Okay.
And so pasta, it's gonna take longer to break down, which means your body's gonna store it in your muscles, in your liver for breakdown later. And so getting very practical with it, this is where, again, carb loading, like you've heard for a marathon, you're going to load pasta and you're going to load rice 3 or 4 days out. But
not honey.
But not honey. Okay. When are you going to use honey?
You can use honey the day of.
Day of, yeah.
Right.
Because we want it now. You're going to use it 30 minutes before. Shoot, I'd do it 10 minutes before
Really?
you go ride on the bike. Yeah. Because your body's going to use what's most readily available. So if you take a spoonful of honey 10 minutes before you go ride the bike, that honey's in your blood. That glucose is in your blood.
So it goes to like from your stomach, it goes to your blood first.
Metabolizes, yeah.
And then it would be.
And it'd either be used or stored.
Okay.
A little bit could be excreted.
Okay. So the idea is like you're basically trying to fill all of the individual fuel tanks where they are.
Yes.
Wow, that sounds really smart.
Yes. Yeah, you're trying to fill your fuel tanks so that way when you're ready to race, you're at max fuel.
So for a race run where people are winning by 0.02 seconds, you need every single edge. I could see that being important.
Every single carb. Yeah, it comes down to that spoonful of honey that you took. It comes down to the creatine that you supplemented. Like that's what it comes down to. And I mean, this is where like my field, nutrition and supplementation, really, really specializes because of what you said. Like mountain biking, any like track and field event, these events, swimming, they're decided by like 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second. And all these athletes are high level, like best of the best. The only thing that's separating them is 2/10 of a second. And so if I can give you a supplement or I can give you a spoonful of honey that is going to give you that 2/10 of a second that you need, like that makes all the difference in the world. So it comes down to every single little thing that you can use to really gain that competitive edge.
Okay, so how does the lungs, how does that play?
Getting into the
theoretically
lungs.
you don't smoke and you cover your lungs and stuff that prevents the oxygen from coming in or something.
Yeah, stop vaping if you're still doing that.
Yeah, no
it's
vaping.
Not cool. It's not cool.
Yeah, cigars are cool.
No, those aren't cool. Cigars are just people that vape that want to look cooler, bro. It's not
how
cool.
Do the lungs help me win a race? And how do I train them? Do I breathe?
You
Do you get some Wim Hof out here and just,
Did we talk about the Wim Hof before?
We haven't, but I used to do it.
Oh, okay.
Cold water stuff.
Yeah. Right on.
We'll come back to cold water.
Come back to cold water. Yeah. How do you train the lungs? I mean, all right, again, practically.
Yeah.
What do the lungs do? The lungs are oxygenating the blood.
Okay.
So heart's pumping, heart's circulating it to our muscles. That's performing. But in order to get the oxygen that we need to the muscles to make them work, the blood has to pass by the lungs and be oxygenated before it pushes out into circulation. So that's the role your lungs play, because blood, so we got our heart here, right? Depending on what muscle we're working. So with mountain biking, we're pedaling our legs. We need all the blood we can to our lower limbs, majority. And so we're going to push oxygenated blood out toward our legs. It's going to fill muscle fibers. It's going to fill capillary beds. It's going to go wherever it needs to go, oxygenate those muscles. And then once it's oxygenated, it's going to circle back to the heart. and it's going to pass by the lungs where it's going to get reoxygenated. So again, getting sciencey, you have oxygen, which combines to a hemoglobin molecule. You know about your hemoglobin?
I know everything about hemoglobin,
Your
but
hemoglobin.
you should remind me just in case I didn't know.
Well, hemoglobin is 4. It's a molecule that has 4 iron molecules all combined into one molecule, and so oxygen binds to binds to iron, and it's going to oxygenate that molecule, and that's what passes in the blood to oxygenate these muscles.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because the muscles need the oxygen. Isn't the carbon dioxide
Muscles.
that comes out of our lungs at some point too?
Yeah. Because carbon dioxide is essentially a byproduct, and so getting real into it. So carbon dioxide, if it's a byproduct, if we're not properly exhaling, it's going to build up in our blood. It's going to build up in our muscles, and it's going to cause us to fatigue.
Okay.
So we not only do we want to oxygenate our blood, but we want to get rid of as much carbon dioxide as we can, because carbon dioxide is bad for us, good for trees, you know.
Got it. So the part, like the pump that you feel when you are working out a muscle,
Mm-hmm.
is because like your body's like trying to send all of the working fluids and all of the carried stuff
Exactly.
and make it all flow around.
Exactly. So it's sending blood, sending oxygen, sending nutrients, all that to the working muscle. Mm-hmm.
And so like I could see it being beneficial before a competition to maybe take like some of your blood that's previously been removed from your body and reinfuse it back into your body. So there could be an excess amount so that you have all of your muscles can have more blood.
Yeah.
Right. I could see that being helpful, wouldn't it?
Are you getting into blood doping? Is this what you're proposing? This has been done before. That's exactly what that's you're talking about blood doping.
Is that a good idea? Like
do they test for it in mountain biking?
I have no idea.
Do they drug test at all? Or
I actually have no idea what the UCI Downhill World Cup like does. I'm pretty sure there's like such an insignificant amount of fitness that matters. Like the kid who just won in South Korea is like the smallest kid, and he's just fast in a million other ways. So like I think it's not
Shout
significant.
Out him, whoever that is.
Yeah, Asa Vermette.
He's doing something right.
Yeah, he's a fast kid.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't think it's significant enough to matter.
Yeah.
And the run is 2.5 minutes long for them.
Yeah.
And so like I mean road cycling, that was a whole thing, right? Like
yeah, Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. He was like, I want some extra juice.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. He actually, I don't know the actual figure either, but that dude raised so much money for cancer research too, amidst all the blood doping. So it's like, yeah, he was cutting some corners, but he raised like $7 billion in cancer research.
That's right. I was one of the kids with the yellow Live Strong bracelet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a good deed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to judge morality of like, well, he broke some like cycle groups rules, but he managed to do all this good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like,
come on,
whatever.
Come on.
Yeah, just like like Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street. It's like you maybe may do a few bad things here and there, but like if you teach everybody how to do a sales, course well, you make up for it.
Sure.
It's like what's beating your wife a little bit here and there.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
Whoa. I don't know about that. You lost me.
Yeah, I lost
you.
You
had me at cancer research. And you lost me at
we got cat hair going everywhere now.
Oh, man.
No, for real though. So the lungs, like,
they oxygenate.
Is that a muscle? Like, they have to contract in and out, or is there like some other muscle that's like making them do their thing?
Yeah, dude, I swear you're like all the questions you're asking me are things I lecture on in class.
Kidding. Perfect. Well, you're doing really well.
So it's like
I love that a college level class is teaching people how their like lungs work.
Yeah. So yeah, you can train your lungs. You can increase their capacity. You can increase their ability. And it's mainly like your abdominal pressure and your thoracic cavity that's able to like inhale and exhale. So yeah, as you inhale, right, your abdominal pressure increases, like your thoracic cavity opens up, your diaphragm opens up, and then as you exhale, like your rib cage contracts down, your abdominal pressure is lowered. So the better you're able to inhale and exhale, the more oxygen you'll be able to draw in, the more carbon dioxide you'll be able to exhale. So all these things, like your abdominals play a role in that, your thoracic cavity, everything plays a role in your ability to oxygenate your blood, which is what we're getting back to.
Yeah. And so like there's the heart is like the pump, right? So the stronger the heart is, the faster it can pump more blood.
Yep.
For a longer period of time.
Yeah.
What happens when you fatigue your heart? Like actually though, like you just like, you're not trained in cardio, but you go run a half marathon. Like
stroke,
you just get really tired.
Yeah.
Your heart doesn't like, I'm quitting for the day.
Yeah. I mean, your heart can it can do one of two things when you're training it. It can either beat faster, because the faster I beat, the more blood I'm going to push out, right? The faster I beat. Or your heart can also, it has a little bit of room to like expand. And so you can train your heart to expand so that way you can hold more blood. So when your heart does beat, you can push more blood. And
what are the words I need to like be concentrating on to tell my heart to expand? How does that work? How do you train your heart to do that? Yeah.
Well, it comes down to venous return would be the scientific term. So venous return would be like how much blood you're pushing back to your heart. And then this would kind of be like the volume in your ventricles. So your ventricular volume, like how much you're able to hold, is going to determine then how much you're able to push out. And so it comes down to, venous return, and then your contraction ability. Like you can train your cardiac tissue to contract harder, so it's going to push more blood.
Is that just by doing cardio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just training the heart.
Do both of those things happen like as a natural byproduct of doing cardio?
Yeah.
Or if you do cardio differently, you can train different things?
I can't speak to that off the top of my head. As far as like, like thickening your heart, which you can do a little bit, or, it happens just kind of as a natural byproduct of cardio.
The differences are probably not like practically worth worrying about.
Yeah. But to give you like real world example, again, keeping it practical. So you've heard about like having a lower resting heart rate.
Yeah.
It means you're more trained cardio wise, right? Like if you,
I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, usually the more cardio trained you are, the lower your resting heart rate. So marathon runners will have like 40 to 50 resting heart rate. So just sitting right here, my heart rate's going to be at 50, 45. And so what that means essentially, as you lower your resting heart rate, because all resting heart rate is how many beats your heart does in a minute.
Sure.
And so if say we're the exact same person, same muscle, same body type, like we're the exact same person. You have a resting heart rate of 60 beats per minute. I have a resting heart rate of 45 beats per minute because I'm better than you.
Yeah. It sounds like you're going to live longer is what it sounds like.
Yeah. But what that means is that like my heart only takes 45 beats per minute to completely oxygenate my body. Versus your heart, you have to contract 60 times per minute to completely oxygenate your body. And so that's a very small difference, but it means your heart's having to work harder than mine is. And so that means
like, what if you have more muscle than I do?
If I have more muscle, then that's where there's variations. Okay. But I'm just talking in terms of like, we're the exact same person.
Okay.
Same weight, same muscle, same everything. But if my heart can work less hard and get the same amount of oxygenation, then that means when we're both exercising at 100% capacity, again, same fitness level, but my heart is more efficient, that means that when I'm at max capacity, I'm going to be working at like 150 beats per minute on my heart rate, whereas yours is going to be 180 beats per minute.
Oh, I see.
And so that's where we get, again, kind of into this runway method, whereas like your max heart rate is 220 minus your age relatively. So your max heart rate would be 192, give or take a little bit. So that means you can only push your heart to 190 beats per minute. But if you're already at 100% capacity at 180, you can't go much further. But if I'm at 100% capacity at 150, I got more in the tank.
Okay. And that's just because of like the physics of blood. You know, the heart can only work so hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heart can only work so hard. And there's people that believe, I'm not sure how much I believe this, but there is some people that believe that your heart kind of has a max amount of like beats.
I mean, honestly, dude, like, yeah. Like
so once
mechanical pumps only have so many times they can spin.
So once your heart runs out of beats, then
yeah.
And so that means if I can lower my resting heart rate, then I have more beats. I'm going to live longer. I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to have longer longevity, better cardio, all those things.
So these are reasons to train cardio.
Exactly.
You'll live longer.
So we're getting back to, train your cardio.
Okay. What about cancer? How does that fit in?
Cancer.
If you have cancer, does that just throw a wrench in the
cancer's pretty bad. Cancer's pretty bad. Cancer just throws a wrench in everything.
That's the clip.
Cancer's pretty bad. Yeah. My grandmother 3 years ago, around this time, passed of pancreatic cancer. She got pancreatic cancer, was a trooper. She lived for about a year and a half. But cancer just completely destroys your body. And she wasn't a candidate for radiation or anything like that, but having talked to people that have been through radiation, actually, one of my students this past semester, he actually was getting treatment down in Houston for cancer currently while being enrolled in my class. And it is a son of a gun as far as I've heard. And so in terms of how does cancer apply, hopefully there's a lot more research coming out in terms of nutritional strategies, supplemental strategies that can reduce tumor growth, which is essentially all that cancer is just proliferation of tumors that's gotten out of control. And so my hope is that there'll be nutritional interventions, supplemental things that we can do to slow this rate of tumor growth to where somebody doesn't have to lose their quality of life going through a radiation treatment,
Right. So I'm curious on the supplemental thing you just mentioned. All of the things you've studied and tested in the lab and all the stuff you're doing, is there anything that comes to mind, if you're allowed to disclose it without, violating some NDA or something, that would be like, hey, like the honey thing is an example of,
sure.
Like, hey, do this thing, maximize your fuel storage. Is there any like special stuff that that you'd recommend to any athlete, but particularly a downhill mountain biker on his race day or just prior to or anything?
Yeah. Since we were talking about it, creatine, and shout out our laboratory at A&M. That's one of the main things we focus on. But creatine we were talking so much about the ATP PC system. That one is going to be the gold standard. So 5 grams creatine monohydrate every single day is the recommended dose. If you're training, exercising, if you're a healthy individual, you could probably get away with doing 10 grams, 15 grams. It's not going to hurt you.
What have you heard of anything about like the excess creatine strategy that some people are doing, where it's like the extra creatine like goes to your brain or something, and if you have like a bad night of sleep, it helps performance? Or is there anything to that?
Did you do your research on it? Did you look into it at all?
What would it mean for me to do research? Because I saw somebody talk about a YouTube video. Does that count as research?
Yeah, that's first person research. Yeah. There's a real efficacy to that. There's One of the studies we're doing right now is on a precursor to creatine. It's called guanidinoacetic acid.
They had to start it with guanidino.
Guanidino, GAA for short.
Sounds like bat droppings. That's what it
Ratatouille.
sounds like.
Guanidino. But
Sorry, go ahead.
but guanidinoacetic acid, what it is it's a precursor to creatine, and it is supposed to be able to transport creatine across the blood-brain barrier more readily. And so there's specific reasons why. And what was I just telling you that creatine does at the very basic level? What is creatine? Why do you need it?
Creatine does the ATP thing so that we get our burst of energy. I would imagine the brain is very power hungry.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So if creatine is ATP and ATP is energy, then if we can get creatine across the blood-brain barrier, maybe that means more energy to the brain, better memory, better reaction time, decision making. Yeah, and so superhumans. I was going more like Alzheimer's, dementia, memory loss.
Why are you trying to save the old people? They're on the way out.
No, dude, I love old people. 2 of my best friends are 70 plus.
Wow,
that's not even a joke.
So you recommend the creatine thing to them, I hope.
Oh yeah. I actually, shout out mom. I recommended creatine to my mom today.
Shout out mom. She's right there in the camera.
Hey mom, I love you. But yeah, creatine for everyone, but for downhill mountain biking specifically is going to be beneficial because it's going to fuel that ATP PC system. Other practical supplemental strategies. Is that what you asked? Let's see. What else would be involved?
Is the thing you mentioned the guanohydride perchlorate thing?
Close enough.
Is that thing I can go buy that at HEB right now, or is it something you're all testing?
We're testing it. You could go buy it right now. Probably not at HEB, and probably not at any supplement store. But you could go buy it off Amazon, just raw. What we're testing it for, our study specifically, is we're seeing what happens when you do GAA only. What happens when you combine it with creatine? Is there a synergistic effect? Do they work better together? Or can I get the same benefits out of creatine that I can out of just doing the same amount of GAA? So yeah, you could go buy it online. I don't know the results yet.
Sure.
And I don't know. I probably should know the literature more than I do on it, but I think we're one of the preliminary studies that has looked at it specifically for its training benefits and its cognitive benefits. It's gonna be a good paper.
Yeah, do you think if one of the things that happens is if I take this GAA with the creatine and I get smarter, I'm gonna be like, oh, why am I riding a downhill bike? What an idiot.
Yeah. That's a dumb thing to do.
I could injure myself.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You just get more logical. You make better decisions.
I'm not going to go on a date with that woman.
Oh yeah, could be it.
That's how that works.
But yeah, creatine. What was the other thing?
So I'm curious. I'm presuming the premise of the whole thing you're studying is you got GAA plus creatine, and then you've got just creatine. And theoretically, you need to isolate across the highest number of samples as you can, comparing the 3 tracks of those things with a similar diet and lifestyle and all these things as possible between humans, so that you can statistically prove that there is a difference.
Right.
So you don't have the results yet.
That's research.
If you had to guess, do you think it's going to be a good or more often than not, I'm going to imagine people are inconclusive. Statistically, we can't make a claim.
Yeah. You can when it comes down to statistics, again, you can't, unless there's enough literature, unless there's enough studies, can you explicitly say X does Y, creatine equals brain. Right. You can't explicitly say that. There's been enough research on creatine alone to where we can say, like, yes, creatine gives energy to the muscles. It produces better strength, produces more muscle. Like, all those things are clear. Do I think that GAA is going to improve? I'm optimistic. And I would say the reason why I'm optimistic at a very basic level is like, I've noticed, at least for myself, I take about 20 grams of creatine a day, and that's from
20. That's twice the recommended dosage that he said for an athlete. That's 4 times.
recommended dose is 5 grams.
Yeah, so for an athlete. So you were saying if you're very athletic, you could do 10.
10.
Okay,
15.
so you're doing 20.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll tell you, I've talked to A&M football players that are taking 40 to 50 grams per day. And so
And they're extra strong.
They're extra strong. And so my kind of hypothesis, my opinion is, if GAA is a precursor, then more creatine equals more GAA, right? Following with me? If GAA is a precursor to creatine, if I add in more creatine, I'm already going to get more GAA, right? And so I think if you're already seeing like improvements with higher doses of creatine alone, then I think when you add in a precursor like GAA, I think it'll combine those effects together. I think they'll be kind of synergistic.
So are you telling me that GAA is like a thing that is going to be turned into creatine?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's as like a precursor. Yeah.
Okay. It like this wouldn't make sense, but this would be like telling me like, hey, this would be like eating pasta with a scoop of flour. It's like the flour is going to be the
Sure.
pasta. You're just trying to find out if you eat them separately, if you have better
Sure.
carbs or something.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I think that's a good example. Yeah.
Is it?
Essentially.
Okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm going to presume the one paying for the study is somebody selling GAA or would like to sell GAA.
That's actually the funny thing. This study is purely from the professor I work under. There's a foundation that gifted us a lump sum of money to pretty much be like, hey, do whatever you want with this money, because we like what your lab is doing.
Yeah.
Y'all produce good research. Here's money. We have nothing to gain from it, no ideas that we want you to do, but I want you to do whatever you want to do, and here's the money to do it. And
Wow.
so the Woodnex Foundation, this is like the third of, I think, 5 different studies that we're kind of doing with them, and it is specifically like for the interests of Dr. Kreider and what he wants to focus on, and what he thinks will really kind of like push this field forward, push the creatine ideology, creatine results, like push the research that we're getting on creatine forward.
So this dude that you're working with is literally
What up, Wyatt?
at the battlefront of like creatine development.
Yeah.
I feel so
he's our soldier.
honored to know someone who's in the trenches.
He's in the trenches. Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Kreider, that's his specialty, is on creatine. So he's worked on a lot of the preliminary research, kind of gotten past a lot of the doubters on creatine that have said, oh, it's bad for your liver is a common one that people will use. It's bad for your liver health. It's going to dehydrate you. It's not effective. He's kind of pushed through that and has produced a ton of good literature in combination with, professors across the U.S. and around the world to really get creatine out there.
So what I'm hearing from this entire podcast is I need to, and this is not financial advice, I need to quadruple the dose of creatine at a minimum to be as strong as a football player and be the fastest downhill mountain biker I can be. And like, I don't remember there being any side effects to taking too much creatine.
No.
No?
Some people have GI distress. It'll give you the runs, make you poop a little bit more.
Okay, so I guess I could keep an eye on that. I won't report that, but I'll keep an eye on it, I guess.
And really, I mentioned like the only reason why it gets a bad rep is because it's metabolized kind of through your liver and through your kidneys. And so people say it'll damage those organs and it'll damage the function. But the only time where it shows to be detrimental to those is if you already have compromised function. If your liver and kidneys are already not functioning properly, then they're not going to be able to metabolize creatine effectively.
But it sounds like it's just making them work. So like if they're bad at working, then it's like they're going to do their job badly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So like if I'm driving a car that has like 4 missing spark plugs and I put diesel in it instead of gasoline, like it's still going to have a hard time.
It's going to be bad. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a good connection. Yeah.
Man.
Creatine.
Okay. We got one more question for you.
Okay.
That we'll take it out with, and that is how would you coach a downhill mountain biker to like overcome the mental toughness of the sport?
Just don't be soft.
Don't be a bitch is what he's saying.
Be soft. How would I coach a downhill mountain biker to overcome the mental toughness?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first I'd have to ask, like, what is the mental toughness? What is it? Like, is it just...
Yeah, so a lot of it comes down to like, you ever been on a hike in the mountains and you look over the edge and you're like, that's really steep.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine looking down that and then being like, I'm going to take a bike down that instead. So like there's fear, lack of confidence from lack of experience, right? If you've never done something before, sometimes on a race course, I might have to, like, every mountain's different, every single trail is different. And so I might need to hit a certain thing where it's like, okay, I have a root and then a rock and then a root and then a rock. I have to jump off the 4th rock over these other 7 boulders and land over there on that stump. I got to do that.
Yeah.
And like, that's just what everybody's doing because that's the line.
Yeah.
Like, how would you recommend somebody, like, that takes a certain amount of like, I just gotta jump.
Yeah.
Get up to speed and jump and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's an example of mental tough. That's an extreme example at a high level.
I see what you're saying. But there is a high degree of fear associated with it. A fear. And like you've mentioned already a few times, just uncertainty of like not knowing what lies around the next corner. It's just kind of that unknown. I think it comes down to one, like, as a coach, you got to trust your training. With downhill mountain biking or with any sport. I was just having this conversation with someone who is actually a barrel racer.
Yeah.
Someone who, barrel races on his horse. And we were actually talking in terms of his horse, like, and in terms of him, like, not overcorrecting his horse on the barrels, but just like trusting in how he's coached his horse, that it's going to perform how it needs to go.
That sounds like a whole other level of difficulty.
Yeah. It's almost like a bike, except a bike is an inanimate object, whereas a horse
do the same thing every time.
has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
So imagine that. So I think, very practically, like, trust your training. So if you've prepared well enough, if you've trained your body well enough, if you've, you practice the course enough, you have a general idea of how it's going to run. It comes down to, you just got to trust it. I mean, what else are you going to do? Doubt? And then that's going to screw you up.
Yeah.
So you might as well just go into it trusting your training. Like, I've prepared as much as I can up to this point. We're going to go out there and do the best we can. Like, easier said than done. But I think if you train and if you prepare well enough, then I think, like you said, like, your mindset where you're like, okay, I'm ready. I know there's going to be pain. I know it's going to be hard, but I'm going to adapt. And so trust your training would be the first thing. And then I think practically too, like, there has to be just kind of a degree of like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's
bro.
I don't know what's around the next corner.
Yeah.
And like, that's okay. Like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, anything could happen tomorrow. And so I feel like practically, like, just focus on what you're doing at that time. Focus on making the next like right decision. Focus on choosing the next right thing. And then by the time you get to the bottom of the hill, if you've decided to do the next right thing at every single turn, you should have raced a pretty good turn, a pretty good race, you know? So
that's really righteous. Just do the next right thing.
Just do the next right thing. Easier said than done. I mean, and
that's true.
Dude, I can't speak to mountain biking at all. The only thing I can relate it to is snowboarding.
Okay.
Because I do have
this extreme sport, yeah.
Yeah, I do have a good background in snowboarding. Like parents put me and my sister on skis when we were probably 6 years old. It was the first time we skied, and then I started boarding at 9, and pretty much every year since then, except for this year, which sucks.
Dude,
I've been snowboarding, and so there's definitely that with snowboarding too, where you're on a double black. If you try and overcorrect or you try and stop, you're done for. There's a certain degree where you just gotta go, and you just gotta trust it. Because if you get scared, that's when you fall. And I imagine it's the same thing with mountain biking. Like if you start thinking about it too much and you get scared, you just fall.
Yeah.
And you wuss out.
I've never actually been on a real snowboarding skiing course.
Yeah.
I've just seen the photos and videos, but like I've been on a mountain with snow, and I remember like looking down the mountain and being like, it doesn't end.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I'm sure on a lift there's a cabin. I mean, there's the lodge at the bottom or whatever, right? But like but there's a lot of distance between you and that. And then, like, I always imagine, like, once you get going, it's like, what happens if I just point it straight down the hill and I don't know how to stop? Like, it's probably worse for skis because, like, they point, you know. Like, you could a lot easier just, like, go that way.
Yeah.
You know, I would just sit down if I was on a snowboard.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
on a board sliding, like your board goes horizontal and then you just all the way down.
That would theoretically be safe.
Yeah. That's what a lot of beginners will do. Instead of like carving, you just see people go shoo, or they go kind of like side to side where you go shoo, shoo.
That's cute. That's cute. Yeah. Bro, that would be me. That would be me. We should go snowboarding sometime. I bet you could teach me some cool things. Dude. I have a skateboarding and longboarding foundation, so it would be fun.
It'd be good. Yeah. As long as you know how to kind of like rock in your toes and shift your body weight, you'll be fine. And with mountain biking too, you already know how to shift your weight, disperse your weight. So yeah, you'd pick it up pretty quick.
There's I would imagine you had similar sensations of like the fear. It's like I'm gonna go over to that part of the course and I'm gonna like jump off. Like, you ever do any jumps? Like, I'm gonna jump off of that snowbank.
Yeah.
And go into the air and then land, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
How does that go for you?
Yeah. Jumps are scary too. And I'm sure you felt this on a bike, but if you're going into a jump, especially if you're going like, so you can either hit a jump and then like land on flat mountain, or you can hit a jump and, you know, land on a
transition.
Yeah. That's a good word for it. And so you have to have some sort of idea of speed to be able to make it and land properly, so you don't overshoot or undershoot. And I feel like that's where, you know, you're riding into a jump and you're like, okay, I feel like I'm going too fast. Like, I need to slow down. But then sometimes you just overcorrect there and you miss the jump. And so, yeah, there's definitely that degree of like, I got to hit enough speed and just be okay with having enough speed so that I can clear the jump. Yeah. There's definitely that intrusive thought though. It's like, this is too fast. I gotta slow down.
There's recently I came to the realization, and I could be completely wrong, but I came to this realization on the mountain bike that like I would rather hit a jump with too much speed. Like, I don't know if it's the same thing on a snowboard, but like on a mountain bike, because you're holding on to handlebars that are your steering. Right?
Yeah.
If I'm going off the face of a jump and I know that I'm not going to make it to the other end and I need to jump off the face instead of just riding off, I'm going to like press into the bike, right? And every time I do that, I'm risking that I put a steering input into the bars because I'm pushing down.
Yeah.
So like I might make a little bit of a movement I didn't intend to.
Mm.
Versus like if I have enough speed, I can always just relax and let the jump push me up into the air.
Yeah.
And I'm less likely to make a forced mistake.
Yeah.
Is it similar in snowboarding where it's like, oh, I'm not going to make that. I got to like hop off my legs.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely because like if you're going off a snowboard jump, usually you kind of like load into the jump. So you load your legs like you're talking about with the handlebars. So you bend your knees and kind of load in, and that way as you jump, you can kind of lift off of the jump. Versus, you know, if you just stay straight leg the whole time, you're not going to go much of anywhere. Or you know, let's say you're going too slow and then you're just kind of straight leg into it, and then you try and like lift your legs up when you're already in the air, and then that's no good. You're probably just going to fall anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely that balance with speed and loading the legs and, you know, hitting the jump correctly.
Have you ever
sure.
had to, like, you were just going so fast that you had to scrub the jump? You had to eat up the takeoff to not go too far? Or you just send it too far?
I've definitely overshot before. I think there's probably been a time or two where, you know, I was coming up to a jump, and then instead of like going over it, just kind of hit the side. Just hit the side and went up and down.
Oh, okay.
Instead of like going up into the transition. Just going off the right side or the left side. Just because I was like, sometimes I would do that. Like if I already know my head's like, I'm not going to make this jump, then like, why hit it?
Yeah.
I'm going to hurt myself. So like just right off to the side, you know, there has to be a certain degree of like confidence when you go into a jump.
Are most of these jumps like tabletops where there's a flat section connecting the landing to the takeoff, or are they gaps? Like you either make it or you don't.
Or you don't.
Yeah.
Mine were, I wouldn't say I'm not pro level. I'm not super advanced. So yeah, most of the ones I would do would be tabletops.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
Yeah.
Well, we should shout out snowboarding, bro. Yeah. This has been a great one. Let's close out with, where can the people find you? What do you got coming up?
What do I got coming up?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be here because now that I'm in College Station, I'll be here for at least the next 3 years. 3 years ideally, if the PhD goes longer. Hopefully it doesn't, but 3 years that I'll be continuing on in school, working on this doctorate. And then in the meantime, just continuing to personal train. When I first moved down here, I honestly had kind of got burnt out on training because, like I said, I just did so much of it during my undergrad and my master's. And so when I transitioned down here, I was maybe 50-50 or maybe even like 70-30 of not wanting to personal train, just because I was kind of using the PhD as an excuse. Like I'll have enough time requirement between classes and teaching and research to where I won't have time with it. But to be honest, then I transitioned down here, and the first month or two, I was like, man, I miss training people. Like,
yeah.
And to get like on a personal level, the joy that I get out of training clients, like being one-on-one with people, like I find a lot of joy in that. And that's something that I don't really get from my classes and my research, because, you know, a lot of the PhD it's enhancing my knowledge. It's enhancing my experience. It's improving my capabilities, but training, I'm getting to focus on somebody else. Like your downhill mountain biking is the priority. It's not myself. It's on you and what you want to accomplish. And so that was something I really missed when I transitioned down here. So when I transitioned down here, I was like, man, I want to continue personal training, even if it's just, you know, a few small people that are really dedicated to what they do. On a personal level, like that keeps me going. It keeps me motivated. And you see as well, I think, just how much it applies. Like there's real practical applications between the coursework that I'm doing and the real world experience. And I think you get the best learning experience by combining both, you know, getting to practice what you're preaching. It's one thing to know the books, to pass the exams, but it's another thing to be able to apply that to an individual. And so that's what I'm going to keep on doing for the next 3 years. I'm going to keep on doing that.
On the subject of practicing what you preach, what are the odds that we can get you to go take a day trip out to Spider Mountain, Texas?
Dude, I'd say the odds are pretty high.
Ride a mountain bike. How are you on two wheels? A little bit different than snow.
Trying to think when the last time I even rode a bike was.
The first time you do it should definitely be down a mountain.
It's been a while. Yeah. But I mean, I'm game for anything. I wouldn't back down from something as long as I don't hurt myself.
Yeah, there's padding.
I'm gonna wear a helmet.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wear elbow pads and gloves and knee pads.
That's what I wear every single
I
time.
wear football pads.
Yep.
Going down yeah. No, that'd be fun. And yeah. My training looks a lot different now. Now that I'm focusing more on school and work. When I was in undergrad, I was doing a lot of bodybuilding, and now I probably train 3 or 4 days a week lifting, trying to run to keep my cardio up. So I'll do some sprints, or I'll do some long distance running, maybe 1 to 2 days a week, just to keep myself healthy.
Yeah, because the lungs and the heart and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've all learned so much today.
Hopefully.
This has been amazing, dude.
Hopefully.
This is the longest podcast I've ever done.
How long did we go? Oh,
we're at almost 2.5 hours.
Let's go. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy training you. I know I already told you that. But you push yourself to another limit. And like the joy that I get out of personal training is because like the people that I work with are dedicated to what they do. If you don't care about what you do, then I don't care about what you do. But if you care about what you do, then I really value that. So yeah, it's been a joy to work with you. Pleasure to know you, bro.
Heck yeah, man. Where can the folks find you if you want to shill your Instagram or your OnlyFans or any of that?
Nah, what? You can find me on Instagram. I probably use that the most. _ my last name, Bivins, BIVINS _ so you can find me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook too. I need to update that. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn, Ian Bivins. That's about it. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
Yes,
Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir.
We'll end it there. Let's just quick shout out to the chat, folks. We got Mr. Wyatt MG came in here. Mr. Wyatt MG
shout out
is a awesome constructor builder guy out from the California area.
Let's go.
And he's been around a long time doing awesome things. So thanks for coming on, Wyatt. He said he's going to check it out, the full pod, later when he gets some time, which is awesome. He's going to need 2.5 hours of time.
Dang.
Unless he plays it on double speed, which is never a terrible idea. That's how we learn fast.
Yeah, I talk pretty slow too, so it might be okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, most people aren't talking at the rate that we can listen. We could all go probably about 2.5 speed before like comprehension becomes a problem. It's trainable skill. But on that note, folks, we're going to go ahead and end this. This has been an awesome stream, and we're going to take it out with some bombing music from, shout out to the Highway 6 band, by the way, for giving us the license to Man on the Run, one of their singles, or it's in an album or something, but it's a song and they made it, and it's an awesome song. So Highway 6 band, those are the guys. Go check them out. And with that, folks, we're going to take it out. Here we go.